Hey, welcome to another Morowak Monday episode, and today we're going to be talking about publishing options. There are self-publishing options and there are publishing company options, and I made a lovely list here of pros and cons for both, and then some tips at the end from personal experiences and what I have learned from other authors. So, let's dive in. First of all, if you're going to be working with a publishing company, there are a lot of pros and cons to going this route, and arguably it's the more productive option. But the pros, when you're working with a publishing company, you have immediate access to the catalogs for the bookstores. They want to order your book, they go through the catalog, and boom, it's on their shelves. So that is huge. That gets you out there to everybody. They hook you up with a book tour. You give them your available dates, whatever, and there you go. So you have lots of media access, personal people access. You do meets and greets. You're there, you're getting your name out, and people can word of mouth so much better when they have met you. So that is huge. Another positive is they're not going to sugarcoat it. If they tell you part of your book is not good, it's not good, and they're there to make your book the best that it can be. Now, even if that is not exactly what you want it to be, they are looking to make your book the best possible version for sellability. Another positive is forever on out, you obtain the royalties on that book. Now, I'm sure via certain contracts, they may have limited year number count, whatever, on how long you get the royalties. Make sure you look into that. But you get the royalties. You do your work, you get it out there, and then you reap the rewards. Some of the cons, you definitely don't have as much control over your book. They don't like your design for a cover. They're not going to do it. They don't like a chapter. They say, hey, this chapter does not work. Guess what? You have to rewrite it, or it's out completely. So, like I said, they're going to make your book the best possible version that it can be, and that could be stripping it. Another con is within the process, they get a cut. They get a cut of your money because, well, they're doing all the work for it. Understandably so. Another con is you've got to look for that yes among all of the no's. You put your book out there, put your manuscript out there to many companies, and you're going to hear more no's than you think you are. You're going to hear no's till finally you hear a yes. And if you're a lucky author, you'll hear more than one yes. You just got to find the right publishing company that wants that specific book. Now, this one, it could go in either category, either a pro or a con. You work on their schedule. They give you a deadline and say, okay, we need this next chapter, we need the next book by this date. I can see that being in either category, because if you're stuck, you're given a date, you can't, maybe you can't make that date. On the other hand, they give you a due date, and it motivates you to get it done quicker. Depending on the kind of writer that you are, kind of person that you are, that could be a positive or a negative. Next, we have self-publishing options, and there's a lot of pros and cons here as well. The first pro is you have 100% control over your book. You want a specific title, you got it. You want a specific chapter that maybe that publishing company wouldn't think is good. Guess what? It's in there. The names of your characters, the cover of your book, you have complete control over all of that, and what you say goes. Does that necessarily mean that what you produce is best quality? But it's yours, and you maintain the control. You also maintain the profit. You're not paying anybody else to publish your book. If it is ebook, then the platform that you use to sell it, okay, they might take a small chunk, but it is a significantly small chunk compared to what a publishing company would take. I mean, you have the vast majority is yours. Vast majority. And you don't have to hear a bunch of no's before you hear the yes. You don't have to do that. You publish, you're good, you're done, it's out there. And the last positive I have is you work on your own schedule. If it's going to take you a decade to get a book out, then it's going to take you a decade to get a book out. If you are a fantastic reader like George R. R. Martin, your readers are going to wait with bated breath for that release. But until you get there, they may push you aside for new authors. So you are on your schedule. You don't have to worry on that aspect. Release when you need to release. That's a definite positive. The con, there's a lot of work that goes with self-publishing. A lot of work. And I'm just going to throw this out there because I would know. This is my very first book. Very first book ever. Cromwell Deep. And I self-published. And I did not know what I was doing. But it has its own ISBN. It went through an online book tour. It did really, really well. It did not see the hand of a professional editor. It did not receive attention by a graphic artist for its cover, or anybody even remotely professional for the cover. And I was such a newbie that the printing service that I went with totally worked me over. So as you can see, there is no title. My table of contents is not accurate because when the software changed my pages to fit the publishing or the printing service, whatever, it changed how many pages were in the book. Therefore, my table of contents does not match up. I think I used like premium paper for the inside. I didn't need to do that. I mean, all these things, you got to pay attention. It's a lot of work, and there is no one helping you. It is you and a printing service, you doing all the work to get your name out there, and it can be very, very difficult. All the costs for this printing service fall on you. And if you don't check your finished product well enough, that can be a big negative. Also, you don't have the access to bookstores, that bookstore catalog that you would if you have a publisher. Now, most bookstores will have a local author section, and you can have your books for sale there. But again, that's just locally, and it's very hard to get your name out on the grand scale if you're only working local. All that said and done, I do have some tips. Tips for the self-publishing: examine your finished beta product well. Eagle eye this mother, because this is what you're putting out to the world. Is it what you want? Okay. And stand up for your baby. Stand up for your baby. If the printing company is not working well with you, maybe you should check out a different printing company. There are many out there. You don't have to have the specific one. Ask for options. If you want a different size, say, okay, what all the sizes books can you do? Can you do hardback and paperback? Make sure there's a spine title on here. Ask the questions. Ask the questions. How is it going to look afterwards? What kind of paper am I going to get? What are the options for paper? And don't be afraid to say, what's the cheapest option? They need to tell you this. They need to be upfront, and you need to eagle eye your product. This is what's going out there. You can ask for opinions. There are many authors out there that are wonderful to talk to that would be more than happy to share their own personal rises and fails. And if they can suggest to you a printing company that is wonderful to work with, very inexpensive, and it just makes your day. You utilize anybody who's willing to give you their opinions. Doesn't mean you have to follow them. And the last thing would be hype the release of this book. You are working for yourself. You are doing everything. So you have to do your advertising as well. Find free advertising outlets. Twitter is a huge one. There are so many so many Twitter accounts out there that if you follow them and give them your links to your books, they are more than happy to share your book with the many, many thousands of followers that they have. Get your name out there. Get the hype for this book release. It's the best way that you can get a big tidal wave going to get your book out there. Tips for the publishing companies is you really need to stand up for what you want. Stand up for your baby. You are not going to get your way on everything, but you've got to be able to negotiate. You've got to be able to bend. You've got to be able to give, and you've got to be able to stand up for, hey, this I'm not going to bend on. This is very, very important to me. You can't do that with everything. They're just going to be like, you are too hard to work with. Bye-bye. The target royalty that you should be looking towards, and this, I don't know from personal experience, but this is what I've been told from other authors out there, from other workshops that I've gone to. Don't settle for less than a 15% royalty. Yeah, you're new to the game, but you are going to have a great product and you need to stand up for your baby. Don't settle. 15% royalty. 15. Doesn't sound like much. Like I said, they get a big cut, but you could probably even get more than that. Don't settle for less than 15. Again, that's what I've been told. And like I said, you've got to be willing to compromise and understand, expect that it's going to happen, because they have control, and all you can do is hope that you are going to link yourself with a publishing company that has your baby's best interest at heart, as well as understanding that it is your baby. So whether you go for self-publishing or a publishing company, I highly recommend this book. Clearly it's outdated and Mama needs to get a new one, but the writer's market is huge. I mean, it has a massive list of, a massive list of publishing companies, what they're looking for, what they will accept, what they won't accept. It is a wonderful outlet of information, regardless which way you're going to go with it. So the writer's market is huge. Utilize it. So I'm not an expert on either avenue of publishing, but I have been there with the self-publishing, and I have tried to go there with the publishing companies. Obviously, with my first book, I did not have the quality product that I do have now. It has seen an editor. It has seen a graphic artist. I cannot wait to decide which avenue I'm going to go with. But I know so much more now than I knew when I first published the book. If you guys have any bits of advice on either avenue, maybe you have been through one of them and it worked out well, or anything that you can add, I would really like to hear in the comments below. Please. This, like I said, this is going to be a journey that we take together, and I'm hoping to have published one way or another very soon. So these are my tips. These are the pros and cons. And I'm still not sure which way I want to go. It's a difficult decision because there are so many options either way. But this is what I've been through. This is what I know. Publishing can be stressful. We got to find ways to make it less so. So whichever direction you go, power to you. Don't give up. Stand up for your baby, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a little bit helpful. Let me know. Give a girl a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Bye.